Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily, or at mhughesart. So today I am super excited because I'm going to be trying these Arrtx soft pastels. So this has been sitting on my shelf for a little over a week now, and I have been itching to get my hands dirty and try these. These were sent to me by Arrtx to try and make an honest video review about. I will have a link to them down below, but all opinions will, of course, be my own. Okay, let's open her up. They include this color sheet. Ooh, there they are. These are the colors. I swear I have not used these. I haven't even swatched them. Even though they look a little messy and irregular, I think that is to be expected with soft pastels. So they do have the color code on the pastel itself. This is the pastel. Wow, so it's actually stamped into the pastel. So one thing I'm already thinking is I'm not sure how I'm going to get sharp lines with this. I've seen that it's pretty common with soft pastel artists to break their pastels so that they get a sharp edge, but these guys are thick. I don't know if they would break easily, which is probably good because if they were thin, maybe they would break in transit, but yeah, not a single one broke. Okay, so I'm gonna get myself situated and we're gonna try these out. So, voiceover Emily here to talk about my experience swatching these. I immediately thought they were pretty buttery and the colors were very vibrant. I did find that a few of them were a little bit softer than others, some of them were a little bit harder. A good example is coming up when I'm swatching the greens. There is this basil green that goes down really hard, and you'll see here it's kind of scratchy. And then immediately after I use this forest green and it's so soft it just melts into the paper. So there was a little bit of variety here, but I've heard that that is the case even for more expensive soft pastels, so I don't know. I don't have much experience with this medium, but that is something to note. But swatching these all out was so helpful for my drawing process. I think it would have been so much more challenging if I didn't do this. So I've been saving soft pastel things on my Instagram. So I'm going to share some artists that I think use soft pastels really, really well. Isn't that gorgeous? This is Arrtx. Yeah, it looks like he's been experimenting with soft pastels for a while, and he just has some really gorgeous, gorgeous results. Next, we've got Sim. Okay, speaking of pastels on a small scale, they've been doing these pastel studies that are just gorgeous, and they often do them in a sketchbook. Another artist I really like for soft pastel work is Cydia. I hope I'm saying that right. I'll have the usernames all in the description. This is a reel, but oh, love it. This is a little copper kettle, and I just thought it would be a good little practice study to do, and I probably won't be able to get into all of the details, but that's okay. I just used a red chalk pencil to get the sketch in. Soft pastels have a super ugly stage. I think a lot of mediums, you know, there's an ugly stage, but man, soft pastels does the ugly stage like no other. So I'm just going to trust the process. Okay, I want to add a little bit of this one here. So I'm really glad I decided to do this study before moving on to the portrait, because it gave me a little bit of confidence in how to best approach using these soft pastels, when to blend, when not to blend, and how the colors would layer. Sometimes the blending or softening of the soft pastels almost makes them lose their magic. So the technique I ended up enjoying was having a soft underlayer and then building up and layering the colors and kind of getting more bold with my strokes as I went up in the layers, if that makes sense. I think the soft look is really nice underneath, but I found that if I blended everything out, it just wasn't really a look I enjoyed. I like having some bolder, brighter marks in there. This is just a cold press watercolor paper because the soft pastels really need that tooth to have something to hold onto the paper. I don't think you need to go out and get a special soft pastel paper. Yeah, I think just any paper with a good amount of tooth should be just fine. Okay, so I think I'm done this little study. So it's pretty messy, but I think she's pretty cute. Maybe we add one more star down here. So of course I had to try and do a portrait with these. I ended up choosing a reference from the film Amélie from 2001. If you have watched any of my videos before, you know that I love doing painted studies from films, from movies. I think it's a great way to practice because there's usually interesting lighting and dynamic compositions. I thought that the colors from this film were perfect for the colors in this pastel set. And it ended up working really well because of all of the green and yellowish hues. So I started off with a very loose and soft base, but when it came to getting in some more detailed areas, I decided it was time to break some of these pastels into two so that I could have a sharper edge. And it felt so wrong, but it greatly improved the drawing experience for me. I actually broke really well. None of them, shattered into a bunch of pieces. They all broke into two nice, even pieces. And they still look great in my opinion, and they fit nicely in their little compartments. So overall, I was very happy with that. So at the beginning of this piece, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I was very worried. I thought I was not going to be able to make a good looking piece. I really wanted to use my gouache or my oils or, just a wet media. I thought I could do this portrait so much better with that. But you really don't want to be craving another medium while you're working. It's just going to feel like you are fighting against the medium that you are working with. So I pushed all of these feelings aside and fully embraced the pastels for what they are and how they work. And as soon as I did that, I started having so much fun. There was something so fun about picking out each color and where I was going to put it down. I ended up working on this for 2 sessions over 2 days, and I just had such a good time, and it just felt like the more I layered, the better the piece would look and the more life came into the piece. So I just kind of got more and more excited as the piece progressed. I don't think it is, the best film study I've ever done, but I was really happy with it. Something that I found to be super important while working on this was to keep my fingertips and my pastels relatively clean to avoid things getting muddy. So I did have a damp rag off to my side as well as a dry rag, so occasionally I could clean my fingertips and then dry them, so if I was going to do any smudging I wouldn't be, muddying up the area. And that worked really well. I also had a scrap piece of paper off to the side so that I could clean the tips of the pastels. Yeah, that also worked really well. So I think having those two things set up is a must while working with this medium. So I used almost exclusively this set, and then also just a white chalk pastel pencil that I found in my stash, and I only really used that for one little reflection in her right eye that I just wanted to make sure was, accurate and in the right spot. But besides that, it felt like I could do absolutely everything I needed to with this set, and I was really pleased with the pigmentation and the colors. I think the key for me was really going in towards the end of the piece and adding little moments here and there where there was bright, unsmudged strokes of pastel. I think that really brought the piece to life. I think the place that I am the most stuck about soft pastels or chalk pastels is I don't really know how to properly preserve the piece. I did, and I will talk about this later, spray fixative on this piece, and I gave it a really good coating, but I still found that when I brought it in and after I let it dry, that if I touched the piece, pastel would still come up quite a bit. So I don't really know how to store something like this. I don't exactly want anything to touch the surface of it. Maybe the key is to put it in some sort of plastic sleeve. I would love to know if any of you guys have played with soft pastels before, and if you like them. Also, if you have any tips for how to preserve them. Maybe I just need a better fixative, I don't know. But yeah, I'd love to hear about it. So I think I'm done. I'm afraid to touch it anymore, though it was super hard to stop fiddling with it, but I'm just gonna call it done. I'm actually really happy with how it turned out for a film study. I think it turned out really good. I was really impressed with the colors in this set. I wasn't sure if it would be, very suited for portraiture, but I feel like in the lighting conditions in this reference, this palette was absolutely perfect. The very last thing is going to be spraying this with fixative and then peeling off the tape, which I think will make this look super nice and clean and finished. So I think that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you can give it a like. If you want to see when I post next, you can hit that little subscribe button. I want to say a big thank you to my channel members. But yes, I will see all of you guys very soon with another video. Bye!